What you making, DIYers? It's Walker with DIWHY.LIFE, and in this episode I'm going to be taking this wired LED ring light and turning it into a mobile streaming rig. My wife recently purchased this LED ring light off of Amazon, and I gotta tell you, for the price of it, it's like 27 bucks or something. It's actually a pretty nice piece of equipment to have. She wanted to improve her Zoom calls and give herself some better lighting, and also she needed a place to hold her phone. And this thing does a great job of doing that. And when I saw it, I was very interested, and if you know anything about me, if you've seen some of my videos on my channel, you know that I love LED lights, and I've got a bunch of videos about LED lights. You know that I've made a DIY LED light out of parts from Home Depot. You can check that video out here. I also made a LED wand light. Check that out here. And I also put a bunch of colored LED strip lights on an electric skateboard and cruise that around. You can check that video out here. In this video, I wanted to take this ring light and turn it into a mobile rig system. Something that can not only light your subject, but have good audio, hold the camera, and be mobile. One of the things I did notice first off about the unit is that it plugs in, which severely limits your ability to go mobile. I mean, you can only go as far as the cord, which isn't that far, and who wants to be carrying around extension cords? So the first thing we'll do is we'll add a battery pack and make this thing mobile. The next thing I wanted to update is the camera holder. While the camera holder does work just fine, it is kind of cheap and flimsy, and I wanted to put something on here that's a little more sturdy. All right, so you turn the unit on by hitting this button and it comes to life. You can increase and decrease the brightness by touching these little plus and minus. And this is the color cycle. So you got a real warm color, you got kind of a neutral color, and then a cooler color, which is a really nice feature because sometimes you don't necessarily want to have a real, harsh blue light, or I actually prefer this color. This color is my favorite. It's probably the most versatile. When you're shooting on a tabletop right in front of your body, it's actually, the light is so bright that it's a little intense, and the ability to turn the light down is a real nice feature. I actually turned it down. This is probably as bright as you want to go if the unit is really close to your face. It does get quite bright. I'm very impressed. And it does put out a nice soft light, which is also a big bonus. You also get those like classic ring light reflections in your eyeballs. Which is kind of a nice little bonus. So let's get right to it and hack this thing up and turn it into a mobile streaming rig. If you do pick one of these up, I would highly recommend replacing the camera holder that comes with it with one like this. This one's by a company called UBeesize. I think I got this on Amazon too. You can just basically unscrew the old camera holder and screw the new one right on, just like that. It functions pretty much the exact same way as the other one. It doesn't rotate, which is not the end of the world. I don't do a lot of vertical video. I do mostly horizontal, so that's not something I'm gonna miss. One thing that adding this camera holder does give you is a cold shoe on top, which is really nice because you can add additional peripherals, like this Comica mic. And if you haven't seen my shotgun shootout video, where I compared the Comica V30 to a Rode VideoMic Pro, check that out up here. The cold shoe on the new camera holder has a spot right there you just can screw a microphone onto, and boom. Now you've got pro audio on a ring light. So now we can just put our cell phone in here like that. If you really want to improve the quality and look of the video you're shooting, I would highly recommend getting a wide-angle lens. If you don't have one of the newer iPhones that shoots wide-angle. This is a 18 millimeter wide-angle from Moment. Moment makes some great cell phone accessories for photo and video. Check them out. And you can just put this bad boy right on here, like that. And it's gonna open up and give you a much wider shot, getting a lot more detail, a lot more things in your videos. And it's just gonna make it look a lot more professional, and it's gonna have a kind of a cinematic look to it. Because this is an older iPhone, I've got the 1/8 inch audio jack, and that just plugs in right here at the bottom. If you've got a newer phone with the Lightning adapter, you can use that too. If you turn the camera on and look through the camera, you'll actually be able to see the microphone in the shot, which isn't ideal. So what I figured out I could do is, let's see, how am I gonna do this? Take the camera out, turn it this way, and put your lens back on over here. All right, this orientation is much better. You've got the lens down here, you've got the screen back here, unobstructed. The lens is now no longer picking up the tip of the microphone, which is great. One thing I did notice though is that when the LED ring light is on, the lens is quite close to the LED light here and can pick up some of the light, causing a little bit of haze to creep in. So just take a piece of gaff tape, a little piece of black gaff tape, and put it right there, right where the lens is, and that eliminates any hazing from the light. All right, that takes care of your audio, takes care of your video. We've got the camera mounted, the phone camera mounted. We talked about the camera mount, talked about the wide-angle lens. The last thing we're going to talk about is how to get this thing battery powered. I picked up some nickel metal hydride rechargeable batteries off Amazon. These are, I think they're 3.7 volts. They're called 18650. I guess these are pretty popular with e-skateboards and such. They make their batteries out of these. And they're so popular, in fact, you can even find battery caddies like this one to put them in. So they go in just like a AA or a AAA battery would go. So you load this thing up with batteries, and then this gives us, what is it? 7 times 3 is 21, so 9 plus 2.1, it's 11.1 volts of power, which is close enough to 12 volts. I think it'll run it pretty bright for a good fair amount of time. I'll also do some tests and see how long the battery does last on this unit with it at full brightness. All right, the light's been on for over 6 hours at this point, so I'm gonna call this experiment and just turn it off. But we'll say that it gets 6+ hours of runtime. But basically, I'm just gonna take this battery pack and with some Velcro, just attach it right here in the back. There's a nice flat spot on the back of the unit. We're gonna put that on there, and we're going to harvest the 12-volt connector cable from another power brick I have laying around, and we'll get it wired together and soldered up, and hopefully it'll work. Anytime you're connecting wires, you don't necessarily want them to be right across, the connections to be directly across from each other, otherwise they could short each other out. So I like to stagger my connections like this. And on this wire, they usually mark the positive wire with some kind of designator. On this one, it looks like they got like a white striping on the positive side, so we'll just twist these together real quick, and we'll bend them in opposite directions so that we're a little safe there. We can go ahead and put our cells in to the holder, like so. Let's pop this in and just confirm that, yep, it does work. So we're good, we can proceed. Makes me feel a little bit better knowing that it actually works before I invest all this time in finishing this project out. Since we only need this cord to be quite short, I'm actually going to cut these a little bit shorter. Let's take these out because we don't want anything to happen while we're not looking. We want the black longer than the red. So we'll cut this one here. We'll cut this one here. Should be good. Looks like that. Got some heat shrink tubing here, which is always fun. Cut a piece of that. Cut 2 pieces of that. And we'll slip the heat shrink over the wires before you connect them. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and just connect our wires. And just for good measure, we'll put a little bit of solder on them. That ought to do it. Cover our connections with the heat shrink. And then, with a lighter, just like that. I don't know. You probably don't want to have the scratchy Velcro on the back of this thing. You probably want to have the soft one on this and the scratchy Velcro on the back of this. So Velcro. Now that we've got our Velcro in place, we can just attach our battery pack. Go ahead and plug it on in, and there we go. Now we've got a mobile rig with a ring light, professional audio, and a wide-angle lens. So here we have the modded ring light rig set up with the Pro Audio, the wide-angle lens, running off of batteries. This is a run and gun system. This is now mobile and it can go anywhere we want to go. So let's do a side-by-side with the original setup with no modifications and see how that looks. This is the ring light setup straight out of the box as it comes from Amazon, with the original camera holder running off of AC power, no wide angle, no professional microphone, just the camera mic. And I mean, it's still pretty good and it still gives you good results, but this is just the straight rig. Thanks for watching my mobile streaming rig video. If you like this video, hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. And we will see you next time. Okay. Just walking around with my mobile streaming rig, professional audio, wide angle lens. Thanks for watching. DIY.LIFE.